Hello, hello, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be going through both of Rafayel's myths. Now, I sadly did not manage to get Abyss Walker last year. I was very excited because I absolutely knew I was going to be playing for God of the Tides. I had an instinct for a while that they were going to be bringing companions back, and it's a similar timing to when they originally released, so it was just perfect all around for me to run them right after each other. I'm very, very excited to finally experience both of these myths. I have read as much of the Rafayel content that I do own, as well as like seeing the cards that I sadly missed last year online, and I was so excited to the point where I actually got my nails themed like both myths, and I'll probably put a little thing on the screen to kind of show you what that looks like. Very gorgeous set. Thank you to my nail tech. She did amazing. So today we're going to be going through the myths in chronological order. I did debate going through them in release order, which would have been Abyss Walker, then God of the Tides, and I know that God of the Tides would have then answered a few questions that Abyss Walker posited, but I wanted to maybe go through it in actual chronological order, so I come into Abyss Walker with the answers. I do also want to say that the Deep Sea, this track that's playing right now from Rafayel's myths, is one of my favorite tracks in the entire game. It seems hopeful, beautiful, majestic, and mournful very subtly all at once, and just very, very magical. So I'm very excited to see if those kind of vibes are also what I get from actually playing the myth. So let's go into it. Before it plays, I do just want to preface that I actually changed my clicker to Rafayel's clicker because I realized I was using Zane's, and so I was like, no, I don't want to be using a different love interest clicker with a different character's stories. So we're now on Rafayel's clicker. There's an old saying around these islands: wherever the sea breeze blows is under the sea god's divine gaze. The god of the sea demands more devout followers. As winds rise at sea and the tides pummel ships, fishermen and sailors wear grey garments. Emissaries of the deep sea they claim to be. They construct temples on seaside cliffs, light sacred flames, and sing hymns from dubious origins every day. They say the god of the sea will select his most devout follower among the humans and grant their wish. I do know that Rafayel as a companion has lines about his follower, and I'm assuming that's going to be us. A gift must be prepared for the god of the sea. Sometimes 'tis a creature from a foreign land, treasure, or even a person. I wonder who that's going to be. I wonder if it's not always the same person who's either, like, people are trying to kill her, dying because of illness, the variable who's going to break the world, etc., etc.
Quickly now! The sacrifice is missing!
Amidst the storm, the ship has lost its sense of direction. Seawater seeps into the cabin. The corpses around me are stiff, cold. My stomach churns and I do my best not to hurl.
Lower the sails! And turn! Hurry! The waves are too strong. Water is rushing in. Half the cabin is already flooded. Now, throw it in the ocean!
They are in disarray, and the cabin shakes violently. The sailor kicks away bloated corpses. Grabbing me by the collar, he drags me to the deck. The imagery is already really freaking gross. This song plays in the main quest, and obviously it relates to Rafayel. And I'm pretty sure this is like, is this a siren song? Or like, god damn it, I don't remember these things off the top of my head. A strange song arrives from the misty sea, bringing with it a faint air of mystique. Like an invisible hand, it calms the raging wells of the ocean. The wind dies down.
Fools. Any further in a storm would be the last thing on your minds.
Rafayel's cold and like affirming tone. Before the ship sails away, I am tossed overboard. Roaring torrents drown out my pleas. Oh, help me. Briny water engulfs me. Before I lose consciousness, however, a warmth surrounds me. And there he is, looking gorgeous already. Like, when I surface, the most beautiful eyes I've seen appear.
Were you abandoned?
Not Raphael's pal. He holds an ornate flute. The ethereal melody disappears when he stops playing it. Save me. He sits on driftwood. Under the night sky, he looks at me, the scales on his neck emitting a faint glow. Is he a Lemurian?
Did you ask for my assistance?
He reaches out to me. Yet when our hands touch, fire bursts forth from his fingers. His voice is so handsome, but that was a dick move. He smiles, proud of his successful joke. My survival instincts kick in, making me clench his hand with all my might.
Release me.
What I'm doing is very undignified to him, but that's not going to stop me. The scales on his neck are raised ever so slightly.
I said release me.
Make me. From the depths of my mind, I remember an old story. A Lemurian kiss can let one breathe in watery depths. Trapped in the unrelenting tide, I grab him, catching him off guard, and kiss him. Yo, follower MC moves quick. There you go, Rafayel. Save me. I struggle to keep my eyes open, but I desperately look at that beautiful gaze. After a long silence passes, his voice rings in my ears. Low, soft, almost like he's casting a spell to enthrall someone.
I will grant you deliverance, and in exchange, offer yourself, your everything to me. Become my follower, mortal.
Is she dead?
Can dead bodies be used for research?
Her body's warm, and she still breathes. Why won't she wake up?
Did you forget our lessons in the study of human anatomy? They aren't like us.
Oh, must be cerebral hypoxia caused by pressure differences. Let's record this observation in our next report.
So, it's saying that these two are young, and yet they are using a bit... Well, like, they basically come off as really, really smart to me. I do not know what half these terms mean. But to me, that just kind of communicates that Lemurians... We had a gist that they were already very technologically advanced compared to humans, but just kind of, like, affirms how much further along they were.
If her soul has returned to the heavens, we should ask Rafayel if we can dissect her. The college hasn't had a fresh human specimen for hundreds of years.
Okay, bro, I'm alive. Chill. Beautiful room.
She's awake! Her eyes are open!
What is this place? Am I below the waves?
Keep your distance. She bites.
I'm having Rafayel Nightly Rendezvous cards flashbacks and Rafayel Tomorrow's Catch-22 card flashbacks. The shadows immediately take several steps back. What are they planning to do? The person they addressed as Rafayel leans in. Getting a better look at his face, I see he is a young, pretty Lemurian. His mouth is swollen, and there seems to be a wound on his lips. When our eyes meet, he glares. She didn't just go in for a kiss, she consumed the man. I gulp, unsure if this Lemurian has any ill intent. Where am I?
A glance would reveal that you are in Lemuria. Treat her wounds and give her clean clothes. I'll inform Elder Amund that we've found my devout follower.
It makes it sound like she's a bit more predestined when he says it like that. But they must have just been looking for someone to be his devout follower, and then she's basically now the one. I'm so curious as to what that means. Like, just the sacrifice? What is the sacrifice? Is he gonna kill her? I don't think he's gonna kill her. You're my savior, right? I should express my gratitude. The beautiful Lemurian leaves.
Worry not. When Rafayel brought you back, it seemed you'd be vomiting bubbles with the crabs for a fortnight.
The imagery is so beautiful, but then the things that are said so far are really gross. From her hiding place, a young girl pops up. Curious and excited, she sits by the edge of the bed.
My name is Algie. He's Conch. You're the first live human we've met.
Oh my god, I love their names. Being like, basically wordplay on actual things from the sea.
Well, they're the ones who swam along the currents, but none could talk like you.
You're scaring her, sister. Look, her hands shake like a shrimp seeing a whale for the first time.
Oh, my apologies. I didn't mean it.
Why? May I know why you brought me here?
You'll know when you visit the temple. It's a very, very long tale. I'll tell it on the way.
Algae told me that in the deep sea is the forgotten kingdom of Lemuria. The sea god, or god of the sea, lives there. He protects whatever the briny sea breeze touches. His followers include not just denizens of the ocean, but also humans. As such, his most devout follower must gift him a heart, so he has the strength to protect Lemuria and becomes a god recognized by the entire ocean. So does that also count, like, in terms of romance, I wonder? Just like, romantically I give you my heart and then we should be good to go. And that's why she's the sea god's bride, right? It's said that the sea god of our generation was born in flames as dusk turned to dawn. Only he can use fire, just like now. Indeed, a great flame has burned in Whalefall City's temple for thousands of years. It represents Lemuria in its prosperity and decline. The Tome of the Sea God states that if this fire were to ever go out, Lemuria shall fall into a deep slumber for centuries. But you can wake up from a slumber.
Stop running around. Do that, and the humans will get you. They'll skin you, plug every scale, and turn you into a lamp.
This sounds like something that a mother would say to her child to get them to behave, which I find hilarious. But also, humans are very awful, and the fact that the humans are basically being used as like these demonic things and potentially seen as like dangerous individuals is something that I also find quite interesting, especially because like we know in our current timeline they have been really awful to Lemurians. So to keep the flame alive, the sea god requires a certain human follower.
Haven't you heard? The child next door went hunting for jellyfish and got stung. Now his brain is nothing but sand, saying he's best friends with the starfish.
The drama in Lemuria is just so interesting. Algae nods. I always believed 'twas a children's fairy tale. Who knew?
We're here. Welcome to Whalefall City.
I love this soundtrack so much. It's just so beautiful and majestic. Beyond the coral reef is a magnificent city with countless looming spires. Fish and jellyfish float past the grand structures. Impressive and stunning is the city in its entirety. Algae escorts me through the streets till we reach the heart of the city. From there, we climb the stone steps of a large palace. Many spiral staircases later, we stand before a huge door in a circular hall with a vaulted ceiling.
Elder Amund maintains the temple. He believes only the most devout, sincerest worship can awaken the sea god's powers and keep the flame strong.
Why a human specifically? Can't a Lemurian be selected?
Humans are the most selfish, greediest of creatures.
You're not wrong. But I really love this part of this song. But also, if you've played Raphael's Tomorrow's Catch-22 song, sorry, if you've played Raphael's Tomorrow's Catch-22 card, they utilize this track at a very interesting story moment, and it very much entwines with the wonderment of artistry and just like beauty that everyone takes in for a moment. But the story is very heavily overlaid with human greed and corruption. So it's like, it feels very fitting to have heard it in that state, and then hearing it at its origin point here is quite, it makes me feel something.
Thus, when they offer their hearts, love, even their lives, 'tis considered the most precious form of worship.
The value in a shift like that. And honestly, this is making me really feel sad because they've established Lemuria as a really beautiful place. And we know what happens, at least to a degree, that things go wrong. I'm just curious as to how.
The tome also confirms Raphael will be the last god of the sea. Therefore...
Conch.
The last god of the sea. Is this why Raphael is somewhat immortal in like a different way? Immortal but in terms of rebirth. I'm so curious. Having called out the boy's name, Raphael pushes open the temple's door.
I just remembered, I still have a report to write. Farewell!
Raphael gestures for me to follow him. Conch said Tome of the Sea God is here. It contains all of Lemuria's history and prophecies. In the temple is also the fire, symbolic of Lemuria as a whole.
She is most suited to be the one.
Wearing a robe, an old man stands in the middle of the temple. Above him hangs a burning flame. I feel it resembles a sun about to go out as I gaze upon it. What's happening? I hope I won't be tossed into the fire as a sacrifice.
Her? She's the human your quintessence decided on?
Quintessence, you know.
'Twas more of fate's whimsy. I wandered about on the earth and became her cushion as she fell.
For now, I shall forget your quintessence snuck out and burned the god's hair. I must ask again, is she truly to be the human your quintessence is bound to?
To be the human. Okay, so they weren't bound before, right? So this is like completely fresh how they started out.
As long as the sea god's ceremony is assured, I will make her my follower. However, we should remove all her teeth and nails. I worry she'd bite and scratch us if given the opportunity.
Please don't. I don't think that's a good idea.
Once a Lemurian is bound to someone, 'tis impossible to go against their wishes.
He's being very swift about binding himself to her, especially if he will be at her whims. And you can abuse that.
She will have the power to command your quintessence. When the two of you barely know each other, is that something worth giving?
Light flickers on Raphael's face. Raphael lowers his head and ruminates about his answer. Elder Armand leaves, and so Raphael and I are alone. If you have yet to decide, can I be set free? I promise I won't speak of this to anyone. Though I try my luck, he continues to stand there.
The day has dragged on long enough. I'm tired.
He finds a comfortable spot on the ground and sits down. What are you doing?
Sleeping.
Why?
Wake me before nightfall.
You... Raphael ignores me. He leans against the marble pillar and closes his eyes. The temple is heavily guarded. I can only huddle in a corner and think of various ways to escape. I just find it wild. He's clearly like a higher up in this whole thing and he's just sleeping beneath the pillar. Is he asleep? Is he truly asleep? Raphael? Raphael? Raphael doesn't react, but then a small blue fish appears and swims around his shoulders. Where did you come from? I have to admit, you're adorable. I poke the fish and expect to receive no answer. Do you know the way out, oh little fish? The little fish swims in a circle and settles on my finger. Do you understand me? Could you show me a way out? Flicking its translucent tail, the fish swims to the stained glass window behind the alcove. Where does she think she's going to go in his domain? Are the day dissipated like sea foam? Why have we returned to these crossroads? Do you lack a sense of direction? Or do fish always have a terrible memory? Swelling its tail, the fish swims into a crowd. I am left behind. Where are you taking me? Ugh, never mind. I'm trying to converse with a fish. After swimming for what seems like an eternity, the little fish stops by a coral reef. It goes into a small hole in the city's wall. Must I actually swim through that? Alright. I pass through the hole and remove the sand on my knees. I turn around. The opulent underwater city is behind me. Yes! Apologize to your master on my behalf. He is my savior, all things considered. My life on land could be uncertain, but I shall certainly die if I stay within the confines of Whalefall City with the weird god of the sea. I have yet to think of a proper way to express my gratitude. Should I feed the fishes during the sea god ceremony?
Was it fun to explore Lemuria?
From the garden's shadows, a voice speaks. Though hard to make out, a person is lying down behind a silk curtain. Rafayel?
There is no need to shout my name.
He lifts a finger and the little fish swims around it. Then it transforms into a blue scale that lands on his palm. I was deceived. The fish was of his creation. You planned this.
'Twas a test made for you. Elder Amund was right. Human promises are but meaningless words.
When did I make a vow to you?
I told you to wake me before nightfall, didn't I?
He yawns, not upset in the slightest.
Besides, when I saved you from the ocean's clutches, we made an oath. Did you forget? I will grant you deliverance, and in exchange, offer yourself, your everything to me. Become my follower, mortal.
Yeah, and to be honest, MC, you're being a bit ungrateful right now. He did save you. But that counted. You are the god of the sea, respectable and awe-inspiring. Can't you consider my rescue as an act of kindness and let me go?
I am not a god who answers every whim. The ceremony is to take place in a month. And as you are aware, ceremonies always need.
Narrowing his eyes, his expression only leaves me with a feeling of dread. The followers. There are plenty on land. The ones who wear robes pray every day to you. They're more devout than me. Scared I am to be a sacrifice once more, I tried to persuade Rafayel to consider an alternative.
All right. Return to me your life.
He holds out his hand as if grabbing an invisible rope that's tied tightly around my neck. Water enters my nose and throat. I am drowning. Rafayel is cruel! I swear on my name I'll do anything you ask. Rafayel grins. He loosens his hold and I find myself able to breathe again.
'Tis not worship that I desire. From the depths of your very soul, I seek only the purest devotion.
I beg your pardon?
The tides ebb and flow, and with every setting sun is a moon rising. Till time's end, I should occupy your every thought. You must believe in me alone.
You mean I...
Think of it from another perspective.
He pokes my chest, specifically where my heart lies. He acts as if he is stating a truth.
Thou is to find a means by which thy heart becomes smitten with me.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I love this. I love this arrangement. It's so fun. Find one who will kiss you, even if you do not give them the world. Love a soul that is like your own, that which complements you. Love and death are the most important things in life. Death is a matter of time, so love with all your heart can muster. Lemuria, Tome of the Sea God, Chapter 3. For my entire life, I only thought about how I'd die. My mind focused on escaping that temple and forging my own path. I refuse to be sacrificed. I never imagined the sea god to be real. nor we would be soon bound together with a vow. Rafayel promised he'd let me go if I became his most devout follower before the sea god's ceremony. This is of great significance to me.
You must keep an eye out. Humans eat everything. Fish can always be on the main course.
Rafayel literally eats fish in the main timeline.
We also like to eat fish. What fish do they like?
Literally!
They also tend to use hot water for their baths.
Oh, Lemurian's cold-blooded. That makes sense. With nothing to do, Algie gives me a tour of the city.
Do you remember Lemuria's flame? We call it the sun below the waves. The fire grows weak as seasons pass. The sea god must reignite it during his coming-of-age ceremony.
I look at Rafayel. Children surround him, grabbing his hands, making him play with them. He creates balls of fire, their light illuminating every face.
As you must know, we are in the deep sea. Sunlight cannot reach this place, let alone moonlight. Without this flame, Lemuria would be plunged into a horrifying darkness. If we were not able to see each other, we would transform into hideous beasts.
Their forms can change depending on light. Right, okay, now that makes sense, especially with how like the actual gross and weird deep sea creatures kind of look in all reality. Your worries are unique. It's very vanity-based. Compared to the world of man, Lemuria is a utopia seen only in fairy tales. They could swim freely and resemble humans. As the legends say, love and freedom dictate the Lemurian way of life. They are also not interested in warfare. Their songs, tales, rare shells and pearls are placed into bottles that could be washed ashore. Their conches are said to store sounds for many years. Mr. Sea God, did you hear what I just said? Rafayel doesn't look up. He tosses me a blue conch. Its origins unknown. Such a wondrous thing exists. What do you call it?
It has no name. Treat it as the miraculous conch of wonders. Take it. The shell will accept all your pointless laments and complaints.
He's so mean. Since Rafayel is engrossed in his reading, I whisper vicious words into the conch. You are no god of the sea, you are a god of scourges. May you be born as a sea monster in your next life. A sea cucumber or an oyster would work, or... When we depart from the temple, dusk has graced Lemuria with its presence. I gaze at the highest spire on the building where a bright fire burns. Like the sun above, it rises from the east and sets in the west. It has brought light and warmth to Lemuria for generations.
Are you interested in some sightseeing?
Isn't the temple closed off at this time?
Follow me.
Rafayel avoids the temple guards and we reach the highest floor of the spire. I'm out of breath when we reach the highest floor. Exhausted, I suddenly lose my footing and almost fall into his arms. Rafayel frowns. Do you not like people touching you?
No.
Sorry.
You can hold my hand.
He extends his hand to me. Taking his hand again. Oh.
But don't hold on to it too tightly.
Ah. I gently hold his finger. A single finger. Truly, 'tis hard to understand the sea god's heart. Gently, Rafayel drags me to the top of the spire. Below us is all of Whalefall City. Like golden fog, the firelight enshrouds every building. How beautiful. This is the first time I've seen a sunset underwater.
Is it pleasing to look at?
Yeah. Rafayel's gaze follows the distant light. He's deep in thought.
Tell me of the world on the surface.
What would you like to know? I can't think of anything to talk about. Since I was once a sacrifice to the god of the sea, I spent most of my time inside that cold temple. Lemuria is the biggest, grandest world I have visited in my life. That was an ego boost. We can visit the surface if you'd like. There are flowers and plants and animals you could never find in the ocean. Have you seen a puppy? You can't say you've lived unless you've touched a puppy's tail.
There are records of them in the college's library, and don't give me that look of pity. 'Tis rude. Can you name even one of the peculiar creatures of the deep sea?
Rafayel grabs a passing glowing jellyfish and motions for me to continue. You're a boring piece of driftwood. What I mean to say is, you've snuck out before. You can do it again, right? Rafayel stops trying to humor me. He finds a spot in the shadows and closes his eyes. I recall Elder Armand's words about Lemurians and one of their weaknesses. Essentially, once a Lemurian is bound to a person, they are to obey every command of their master. Oh. Okay. He'll fulfill every request of mine, right? Make some flames. It didn't work at all.
Don't waste your time. One should practice silence when watching the sunset.
Does she have to say certain lines to make him do what she said? Do you want to see the real sun, Rafayel?
I do not.
You wanted to sneak onto the beach the day we met.
Your tongue barely moved when we first met. Back then, you were rather... This side of you is much more to my liking.
On the beach, we have Sea God ceremony too. We play wonderful songs on lyres and...
Were the surface world as lovely as you claim, you'd be elsewhere.
Yeah, but they tried to kill me, that's a different story. There are evil people on land. Once they learn you're a Lemurian, your tears that turn into pearls would be harvested day after day, endlessly.
If you persuade me to bring you to the beach, you'll run away. Is the surface world's sunset different from the one in the ocean?
Honestly, my memory of it is hazy. You take me to see the sun, and I'll bring you to the festival. What do you think? As Wellful City darkens, I sense Rafayel is asleep. I lean against his shoulder, my head almost touching his... I feel sleepy. That was really cute. Oh, their romance is blooming very slowly and beautifully. I really like that. As days pass, I grow accustomed to living here. Rafayel hasn't talked about needing a follower, and today, he suddenly approaches me.
Let's go.
Where to?
The beach. You spoke of humans celebrating the sea god's birthday for several days.
Truly?
Yes.
But we're going to the land? Under cover of night, Rafayel and I sneak past the guards in Wellful City and reach the shore. I doubt you had to swim so quickly when a shark chased us.
Two-legged creatures like you are slow and lack the ability to protect themselves. Without me, you won't survive a single day in the ocean.
The waves are calm and the stars from on high shimmer brightly. I take a deep breath, fresh air filling my lungs. See the island over there? The tallest temple is where the emissaries reside. Raphael looks at where my finger is pointing. In the distance is a brightly lit building.
Have you lived there a long time?
Ever since the emissaries adopted me when I was a child. For a time, I thought I was also a follower of the sea god. As I got older, I figured out I wasn't a follower, but a sacrifice. Something his followers would gift to the sea god. Only the emissaries have the right to be the sea god's followers.
Why didn't you try to escape?
Where could I have gone? This island is too small. They'd find me no matter how hard I tried. Were I to become a fish and swim into the ocean, perhaps I'd be successful. Let's keep moving. Basking in the wind any longer might make me catch a cold. After a few steps, Raphael stops me in my tracks.
You were originally a sacrifice to the sea god. Why are you inviting yourself into their domain?
So you can see the ceremony. Before we enter, Raphael finds some driftwood and creates a mask for me to wear. It fits perfectly. Perhaps with the festival underway, the scent of expensive spices permeates the air. Mermaid-shaped lamps on the buildings burn bright. Beneath the arches, which are inscribed with the legend of the sea god, is a performer playing a lyre and singing.
Unable to break his vow with the girl and his own burning passion, the god of the sea left the ocean and lived happily ever after with his beloved.
When the puppet show ends, the curtains are drawn. The children talk amongst themselves.
But Lemuria is centered around bonds. Without it, the sea god won't remember or obey her.
What are you talking about? The god of the sea will find his beloved and live happily ever after.
You're also naive.
Puffing, the little girl tugs my sleeve.
What do you think, miss? Will the sea god be with her because he loves her? Or because of their vow?
All those legends of Lemuria are just made-up nonsense. Before I can continue, the children start crying. I'm sorry, I didn't...
What about you, sir? Does Lemuria exist? Would the sea god gift his heart to a human?
He would stand out wearing this garb, so he must be wearing something else. The sea god who has listened to the story, his chin resting on his hand, nods.
He would. Lemuria is my homeland, so that is how I know.
Just tell them. I tried to cover Raphael's mouth, but he pushes me away.
Huh? What are Lemurians like?
Their tears turn into glimmering pearls, and their voices bring dreams of wonder. Their blood can make one live forever, or even resurrect the dead.
I already knew that.
But that's why I ever are after them. Because technically, the way I kind of liken the Lemurian existence to something is kind of like the Vidyadhara in Honkai Star Rail. They're kind of like this eternal race who go through the cycle of life and reincarnation, but they are reincarnated as the same entity. Like but it's not even reincarnation, it's just rebirth. So
Lemurians don't fall in love with people they are bound to. 'Tis a human fantasy.
What else?
Are you that curious?
Raphael takes the sea god puppet and the girl puppet the storyteller gives him. He hands them to the little girl. Only then does he notice his companion has disappeared.
Sir?
Perplexed, he looks around. Food stalls, puppet shows, jugglers. She is not there anywhere. He lets out a sigh of relief when his gaze sees the market's plaza. Pomegranate wine, the distraction, had lured her away.
The young lady there. Inform her that someone is waiting. If she doesn't return soon.
He thinks and then whispers to the little girl.
That person won't keep waiting.
He's so petulant and cute. Are you upset I was distracted? Don't be angry. I returned, didn't I? I even brought with me pomegranate wine. It just finished fermenting. We can take it back for algae and conch.
I'm not upset, but...
As I speak with Raphael, there is an argument behind us.
Someone stole the pearl eyes from the sea god statue in the temple. You must be the thief.
You're mistaken. The person who gave these to me is over there. I would never dare touch the sea god's treasures.
It was a storyteller. Interesting. The storyteller points and the god sees me and
There!
Raphael.
Seize them!
Will they imprison us? Ah, well, we should start running.
We should clear our names! We were careless. Commoners would use coins to pay, not pearls from the deep sea.
I just found them in the sand before we... Ouch!
I grab Raphael and drag him into a deserted alleyway. We are no longer safe here. We must find a way back.
Don't you want to stay?
Yeah, honestly, I thought she'd be trying to, like, sneak out more. Raphael interrupts my thoughts. Huh?
If that's your wish, I can distract them for you. In the Tome of the Sea God, the text states I must never go against your wishes. If I did, it'd mean we cannot be bound.
He turns around and kicks the pebbles by his feet.
I need only one follower. It doesn't have to be you.
Aren't you afraid of me telling others about Lemuria?
But you always wanted to live on the surface world, right?
He is confused. I can only shake my head and take Raphael's hand. I don't have a wish. Besides, the celebration is not about me. Raphael is startled. Then, under the realistic statues of the sea god, he smiles.
This event has nothing to do with me either.
The thieves are over here! Capture them!
Damn it, they found us! Raphael pushes me into the shadows and walks onto the street.
Do you all want eyes from the god of the sea? I have tons. Have at it.
With a flick of his wrist, countless pearls of various sizes soar through the air and cascade onto the ground. The surrounding merchants are stunned before they start to fight one another, picking up as many pearls as they can.
It's mine! Cease! None of you can take them! They are only for the emissaries!
The greater the temptation, the less likely humans need to believe in anything, it seems. 'Tis understandable for the god of the sea to struggle to find a follower most devout in their worship of him.
Sir, I don't want the sea god's eyes. Can I get your sea god puppet instead?
Here. Remember to keep them together.
So romantic. Raphael gives the puppet to the little girl. He then takes my hand and pulls me into the night. The guards have called for the city gates to be closed and barricaded. Raphael and I run along the paths behind a mountain. Unfortunately, we now stand on a cliff. Nothing but the ocean below us.
Jump.
Huh? Sharp, jagged coral and rock lie at the bottom. A single mistake would be disastrous. Surely you jest. If we jump, we'll die. Ah?
Not with me here.
Raphael ignores my protest and kicks me. Hold on. Hold on. The was him kicking her off. That's killing me. Oh my god. Splash. Rushing water separates me and Raphael. The horror of drowning washes over me again. Sorry, that's why my was like so confused, because I was like, why is she just randomly yelling? That's so funny. I flail my arms, helpless, trying my best to reach the surface. Raphael! Beneath the surging waves, I can barely see. I return to that fateful day when I was tossed overboard. Maybe my destiny is to die in the ocean. Lemuria was but a mirage. A dream made in my final moments because I still clung to a sliver of hope. Well, she's waxing very poetically. Just kiss her, my guy. Frigid, briny water floods my throat. No matter how many gods there are in this world, whether legendary or figments of imagination, I cannot place my faith in them. Even if they are real, why have my prayers gone unanswered? Even now, as I edge closer and closer to death's door, I'm alone.
Hold on tight.
A voice speaks beside my ear. I open my eyes and see a familiar yet blurry figure. He tightly holds my hand, using all his strength. Raphael. I remember, although I hoped for the gods to exist, someone has already answered me. He says nothing. He cups my cheek, and his head moves closer. Okay. This entire thing has been very, like... I don't know how to explain it, but it does make me think of a Disney, like, romance movie. Like, it's really cute and very fast in how things are moving along. And also, though, I will say it's quite short. And we only have 3 more episodes left. So it really speaks to how much more time that the later myths got compared to the earlier ones. But, like, it's nice to know that the quality as the game is going on, is going up and up. And I'm thoroughly entertained this entire time, though. I'm not complaining. So, a 7. You should have at least said something before that.
If I did, your last kiss would have been given to this generation's sea god. Also, watch what your arms and legs are doing.
But she did give you her last kiss as well, so already, so, like, what do you mean? Like, another guy? That's not gonna happen. You're ending up with each other. This is not a game. This is a game, but you know what I mean. I see. I am in Rafayel's embrace. Like a hermit crab. Oh, sorry. I see. I am in Rafayel's embrace. Like a hermit crab who's found a new shell. I'm sorry. I left marks on your arms again.
I don't mind. Give me your hand.
Rafayel tosses my mask into the ocean, takes my hand, and helps me stand. My body suddenly feels light, my feet landing on the water's rippling surface. I'm able to stand on the ocean, as steady as I do on land. In boundless blue, he takes me to the horizon. Behind us, the island melts into the sunset's shadow. He gestures for waves to bloom under my feet, sea foam appearing with every step I take. Fish swim, white gulls circle overhead and sing as they land on my shoulder.
We went through a lot of effort to see the sunrise. Why are you quiet?
No, I've never seen anything this beautiful in my life. I make Rafayel sit down. I let my feet touch the lapping waves. Curious fish circle around us. Rafayel raises an eyebrow. He pokes the fish that leapt out of the water.
As a young boy, my life was no different from yours. The prophecy stated Lemuria was to only have one god of the sea left. My predecessor passed away, and they found me years later, bathed in the flames under the union of dusk and dawn. The deep sea is dangerous. Only the strong survive. 'Tis why I can only go as far as the surface of the sea.
Were you happy? Have you ever thought about traveling to another place? I touch his fingers, my gaze meeting his.
Who do you think made that hole behind the college?
Oh, he has made escape attempts. This is actually really ironic considering the beginning of Abyss Walker, if I remember correctly, was like Princess MC, like trying to consistently escape the palace. So it's kind of interesting how they're in parallel positions of like people who are in higher ranking positions and carry on trying to escape them. The sun's rising. The sun breaks through layers and layers of clouds. He looks up at the sky, observing the glittering sea under its rays.
So it is.
Many moons have passed since our last rendezvous to the surface. The deep sea becomes my second home. I'm used to living underwater, or in Whalefall City rather. On the night before the sea god ceremony, as everyone is asleep, Rafayel takes me to the temple. Pulsating in a steady rhythm behind us, the flame burns.
When the fire goes out tomorrow, a new Lemurian prophecy will appear in the tome of the sea god. And when the fire is reignited, the ceremony will end.
He looks beautiful. He looks beautiful and this setting looks beautiful. Describe to me what's done in the real sea god ceremony.
We sit on my divine throne, adorned with shells and pearls. 100 golden crabs will carry us on a journey to every part of the deep sea.
That sounds lovely. But wouldn't everyone be annoyed?
Indeed. I'll skip the first part of the ceremony. 'Twas only make-believe nonsense. I don't know the details of the ceremony, but it won't be anything like the celebration on the surface world. Every participant will be blessed by the ocean.
What about you? Will I receive your blessing?
Tomorrow's blessing will be for everyone, but 'tis only yours at this moment. 'Tis a true emissary of the god of the sea. With it in your company, you need not be afraid of the danger that lies ahead. I also have a question. 'Tis a very, very important one.
You're blushing.
Are you willing to be my follower?
Desiring the sincerest worship of mortals, thou must offer an irreplaceable object.
The sea god's heart, mine heart, dost thou want it?
We lean in closer to each other. The flame flickers, seemingly startled awake. Shadows on the wall tremble and shudder. A few moments later, it returns to normal. They just confess their feelings to each other at that point. Like, oh my god, and the ceremony's the next day. What's going to happen at the ceremony? Because if everyone's meant to be blessed, but then Lemuria goes to hell, I'm terrified, actually. What the hell? I will cut out your heart with a dagger honed, my darling. And in love's name, your heart will become my faith. Your body will be washed clean, shine like a pearl. I will care for your heart. Till we meet again, and you reclaim it for yourself. Siren's Ballad, Act 3, Hiya. Dream. On the edge of sand and ocean, I once had a dream. My feet sink into the sand. Endless is the yellow sky. Plants grow along a dried riverbed. I walk beside it for a long, long, long time. The skin on my fingers is dry, cracked. My feet start to bleed. At the edge of the riverbed is a young man and a giant sea creature. I cannot make out his features, but I think he's taking in the animal's warmth. He appears to be singing a melody, which is strange, alluring, but I can barely make out any notes as his voice is barely above a whisper. I take a few steps, wishing to hear him better. When he looks up, I immediately recognize those eyes. He stands up and reaches out to me, like I'm an old friend returning from a long trip. There's Whalefall City. He points to the bones of a sea creature long dead. In the distance, they rest in the sand dunes. That's where I can look at the sea. Yes. I take his hand. We arrive at our destination when the sun rises. The team turns to me. The dagger plunges into my chest. Warm blood drips and seeps into the sand. I watch as he rips open my chest and holds my heart with his hand, red with my blood. A tiny flame feeds on my fresh blood. A shiny crystal emitting a strange light rests at the center of the flames. Beneath the core? Or a protocol or a core? I was like, oh, is this dream potentially about them in the future? Okay. There's a voice in the air, whispering, the reason for us to leave the desert is not to find an oasis. We're here for a heart, to take it back and make it our worship. this also be an allegory for romance? Or I haven't been graced with a dream for a long time. Why did it feel real? Also, they're talking about being in the sands, and Abyss Walker is based in desert, no? I feel like I'm suffocating, as if my heart has been ripped out of my chest. The miraculous conch of wonders outside Whalefall City has brought many rumors about the surface world these past few days. The sea god's lost sacrifice angered him. In his divine wrath, he burned down a temple to punish his followers. And then, the eldest of the emissaries was bedridden and died.
Who cares? Tomorrow will be the sea god's ceremony.
What is it like?
I'm not sure how to describe it.
Okay, pause. Let me read that again. The sea god's lost sacrifice angered him. In his divine wrath, he burned down a temple to punish his followers. So basically, did Rafayel burn down the temple that basically raised MC to be the sacrifice? And she was quote-unquote lost to them because they don't know what necessarily happened to the vessel that she was on, etc. So he used that as a reason to either destroy the temple, or he just destroyed the temple and then other people made propaganda about why he did it. Interesting. Every Lemurian says 'tis a sacred rite worth attending. Girls wear light flowy clothes and braid their hair with beautiful pearls and shells. This looks pretty. Will you wear it tomorrow? Holding her dress, Algie happily spins around.
We also prepared a lovely garment for you.
Everyone is going to help prepare for the ceremony. I don't know what to do.
Just stand in a conspicuous spot and then give him your hand.
Does she not realize this is like a marriage ceremony? Do you know anything about the last sea god ceremony? Algie shakes her head.
1,000 years passed since then. My grandfather's grandfather was still a child then.
Algie senses what I'm thinking and grabs my hand.
Don't worry. I heard the sea god's follower will help him see Lemuria's future. The prophecy will reveal the fate of Lemuria. You're free to play with us once the ceremony is over.
See the future. What does this flame consist of? Because this is pure magic at this point. Hide and seek, a children's game. Someone you meet, she will steal something of great importance to you. Even if you are blindfolded and tossed into the bottomless depths of the ocean, she'll know where you are and how to find you. Siren's Ballad, Act 4, Weeping Siren. After climbing through the temple's window, Rafayel felt a little tired, dizzy even. 3, 2, 1, ready or not, here I come. Algie was far, far away, a speck in the distance. Rafayel sat down and expected to wait a long time. The Lemurian temple stood at the highest point of the seamount. It was the closest to the sky above. Hence, the first rays of dawn brushed against the spire every morning, and only the spire. Lemuria was in the bottom of a fissure in the deep sea, a place light would not touch. Only a fire provided a source of warmth and light. The sun's rays made him tired. To prevent himself from falling, he touched the flame. 2 flames merged, burning together as if they were once a single blaze. The prophecy stated it would go out, only to be reignited by him. Curious, he asked Elder Armand what had happened to the previous sea god. Had they died? Were they consumed by flames, or exhausted from swimming in the vast ocean, devoured by fish? If they claimed that I was the last sea god, did that mean Lemuria would be left without one after I died? Elder Armand said, however, that the sea god possesses a heart that never dies. Even when their life comes to an end, they merely fall into a deep slumber at the deepest parts of the ocean. See, this just, to me, validates my understanding of Rafayel specifically having that Vidyadhara, like, having that rebirth. It's not reincarnation, it's rebirth. And just, like, defaulting to a younger state before he's reborn again. Rafayel frowned and thought, it's too cold and too dark down there. I don't like it. So he asked again, would someone come and find me when I hid in there? That's why the hide and seek thing was about a girl finding him, because it's meant to be his bride, right? Elder Armand shook his head. He watched the way the flames flicker, then sighed. He plunged his finger into the heart of the fire slowly. The fire wasn't hot. Instead, it was warm, like the sea baked under the afternoon sun. He wanted to be like those fish that leaped out of the water, to break through the surface and see if the sun was just as warm. He had an impious thought. Perhaps Lemuria's fire is just a poor imitation of the sun. Raphael came to his senses. He took back his hand and picked up the little blue fish by its tail.
Shh, be quiet. I don't want to be found right away. If you speak another word, you will return to being a scale, and a scale you'll be forevermore.
The little fish became quiet and just blew bubbles.
I heard there is a lot of entertainment on land, as well as humans.
Forward, Raphael played with the little fish in his hand.
You're small, barely even a bite if eaten. If we sneak out onto the surface world and meet bad people, could you do anything? Be careful, or else you'll be caught. They'll pluck all your scales and remove your insides. Humans will turn you into fish oil for a lamp and...
The little fish bites Raphael.
Bite you!
That's so funny, actually, because that just ties to the beginning where... Hold on, I just had a thought. So, the bite obviously ties to her biting him in the beginning, which is kind of ironic. But, like, in Nightly Rendezvous, she literally bit his lip as well. If Raphael has his memories... No, I don't think he has his memories of being the sea god, but if he did... Oh, also, I'm playing this after I've done his branch. So I'm so... Oh, why was he mad in his branch? Oh no, okay, my head is all over the place. Okay. Raphael shook his finger from the pane and leapt from the windowsill. Hiding was boring.
All of you are idiots. I'm over here. Try a little harder to find me next time.
He's so funny. Okay, and now we're in the final chapter. That chapter was really interesting. Not only prefacing him and like where his mind went. Yeah, but now I'm so anxious about the ceremony. Genuinely, I'm concerned. Like, I know things are gonna go bad. I'm just wondering how bombastically bad they're gonna go. So, today is the day. After thousands of years, Whalefall City holds the sea god's ceremony again. Before the sun rises, the city is already in a festive mood. Everyone looks forward to the ceremony, to celebrate the sea god becoming an adult and gaining the power to protect the ocean.
Can't, you dumb sea cucumber? I told you to save a spot for us. We can't see anything here.
Sister, don't be so mean. Your teacher's right in...
Why are you hiding there? The sea god won't be able to see you.
Does it matter? There are so many people, he might not...
Quiet. Here he is.
The crowd erupts into cheers. I look up and spot a huge shadow sweeping over Whalefall City. There's a beautiful, sacred creature of the ocean. It appears to be a whale, yet it has a bird's wings. I do also recall in one of the early artworks for the characters, and it was like before launch, Raphael was like next to a statue of like a weeping mermaid, but she also had wings on the top of her tail. So I'm really curious if like there's something about how far Lemurian capabilities or as a race or how they've evolved over time actually goes. The sea god sits on its back, passing by his loyal subjects before stopping at the gates of Whalefall City. He looks through the crowd until he stands before me. He lifts the veil on my head and takes my hand. Beautiful, intricate patterns are painted on his body. His eyes are almost smiling, as if he's been waiting for this moment. Inadvertently, I hold my breath. Everyone moves aside, creating a path for us. As we make our way down, every child says their blessing in Lemurian. Just coral branches are thrown behind us as we approach. Temple's doors. The doors slowly close behind us. Songs from outside melding with prayers inside the temple. In the dimly lit hall, the fire twists in the darkness, about to go out. The sea god intertwines our fingers, pressing our hands against his chest. I close my eyes, calling out his name silently. I am willing to give him my heart. I am willing to give him my sincerest form of worship. I am willing to have his very being etched, engraved onto my soul, as I praise and pray for him for the rest of my life. Soft like a silken thread, the sea god's fire touches my hand. The fiery thread embeds itself into my palm, becoming a line, part of my very soul. Rafayel, the young god of the sea, looks at me. His voice is like the wind, blowing out the only light in the darkness.
This is my promise to you, for 'tis Lemuria's vow, a bond everlasting.
No one knows what happened that day. What? Wait, pause, what? Because I was like, why is it darkening? What the frick? The music! No one knows what happened that day. Lemuria is plunged into endless darkness. Panic seeps into every part of the ocean. The deep sea is angry. In its wrath, waves slam against the cliffs and rocks fall into the waters. Even the underbuilt temple is turned into rubble. 'Tis a long time before the sea god walks out of the temple alone, bringing light back to Lemuria. As he leaves the temple, the alcove that once held the flame collapses. The sea god's follower is gone. Bathed in sparks and cinders, he holds a small pulsing flame. It writhes like a newborn. Some said that the flame was born from the purest faith. Some said that the sea god sacrificed his follower to slay Lemuria. Different stories, some true, some not, circulated until people gradually forgot about the ceremony. No Lemurians have ever seen the sea god's follower and the little fish that swims around him. They are gone, whereabouts unknown. Only many, many years later, when the god of the sea Only many, many years later than the god of the sea has perished, when the kingdom has sunk to the depths of the ocean, a rumor begins to circulate Lemuria. The god of the sea has lied to the deep sea for his beloved. Lemuria, the days to come. Wait. This is my promise to you, for 'tis Lemuria's vow, a bond everlasting. So so basically I do get like the different love interests in a way are sometimes tied to MC. Like Silas has a spirit bond, essentially, that MC enforced when she cursed him. And this is saying it's a bond everlasting, but then she disappeared. She would not have been able to make that out alive unless she was rebirthed in the flame. And so like when he's talking about the flame, was she turned into a flame? But then if he goes to the deep sea where he's meant to rest and then she's meant to find him, why is he angry in the branch quest? Because doesn't he call her a traitor? What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? That was so good. But I'm so And this is apparently meant to answer questions. Okay, I'm so glad I'm doing it this way around. Because I have so many questions, so hopefully going into Abyss Walker, I'm like, oh! Things are making sense. Ancient Lemurian conch. Oh, is this like the conch that she was talking about? Legend has it that the ancient Lemurians would use magical conches to record poems and stories. These shells, preserving sounds within them, remain unaffected by the passage of time. And it came with in love and faith. Well, she had pure faith in him and they fell in love with each other, but how did that turn out? I'm just baffled right now. Like, I'm just so, like, flabbergasted. What the hell just happened? Okay, we're taking a break. We're taking a break before we go into Abyss Walker because what the hell? After all of this, by the way, I'm going to go and re-experience his birthday card because I think I'm gonna need that to like make me feel better. Because again, the blue fish makes a cameo there. Yeah, I'm so there's so much information and I need a few seconds to compute it before we go into the next one. But thank you for sticking around. I don't know if I'm gonna split these into episodes. But see you in Abyss Walker.